Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video is just going to be a little update on the progression and growth of the food plot that we did back in beginning of March. I think we finished it right around the 6th or 7th, and then I got the trail camera out there, we seeded everything, and so I kind of have some images going, not quite daily, but every few days at a minimum, unless there's a lot of activity. I just want to show you some of the deer and other wildlife that is passing through the area. And as you can see very early in this, right, there's a group of 5 deer that came out just about 4 or 5 days after we tore everything up and planted. So they were definitely interested in coming through here, checking everything out. Now, we haven't hunted this field. As far as I know, it hasn't been hunted in at least 4 years. I don't know about previous owners, but no one's done anything with it since my friend has owned this property. And I've been helping him trying to get it going. He wants to get out there and do some bow hunting. So you can see about a week in, you can kind of get some growth out of that Plot Spike Forage Oats. That stuff took off very quick, right? And I do apologize for the low grain images. Hopefully later on in this video, I do have some actual video footage from this game camera, and it's a lot better quality. I don't know what is happening with like the actual image quality, but the video quality is nice. But you can still see the progression in the growth. Everything kind of like on the right side of that screen, that's the Plot Spike Forage Oats. That stuff, like I said, took off in about a week. And then everything on that opposite side, kind of like straight back and then to the left a little bit. That's that big sexy blend with the turnips, radish, kales, everything like that. And I'm not blaming anything on it. I think it's going to be a great blend. It is growing. It's just very slow. And I think that's simply due to the fact of we have not had a lot of rain. So out here in eastern North Carolina, it's been pretty freaking dry. Actually this week as I'm filming, we're getting a lot of rain, so I'm hoping that helps blow it up. And you can see it towards the end of this video, some of that growth. It is small, but you can still see it in the video. I have not been out there since we seeded this, right? So it's been a couple months. I've just been letting this thing do its own. I had my buddy go out there one time, trim a branch by the camera because there was a branch hanging down, setting it off like every 5 minutes. So I had to get rid of that. But as far as that, we haven't gone out there. We haven't done any maintenance for the field. We haven't fertilized anymore. We've just been letting it grow, leaving the wildlife alone. You can see we're getting good activity, the deer coming in early mornings. And then as the video goes on, you'll actually start seeing them come out midday. And then as I stopped adding photos and images and videos to this one, I've had a doe out there. She's been coming out around noon and then back again around 4 p.m. and then even again in the evening times, right? So there's been a lot of activity. There's a couple bucks that have been passing through. They don't really hang out too much. We do have one younger one that seems to come in probably twice a week. He's in this field. He'll do some foraging, eating around, but he's not really hanging out like the does are. And I'm sure he's going off to other fields and stuff. There's some bean fields that aren't too far away. There's a lot of farm area around us, so we are competing with, big agricultural areas. But as far as this property, it is receiving a good amount of activity. These are all younger deer for the most part. We do have a very older, a doe, very mature doe, and she seems to be pregnant. It's hard to tell if she still is or if she had the babies just recently, but her belly's still pretty big. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that they are producing and reproducing out here. And my only concern is going to be the coyotes. I'm sure you saw a couple clips and pictures of them. There's a pack of at least 4, right? So there's 3 adults and at least a younger pup. Maybe this season. We have some fox. There's bobcats and everything out there. Bobcat, I've only seen twice though, so I'm not too concerned about the bobcat, but I will probably try and get out there and see if I can take a couple of these coyotes out of there. And if I do, I'll definitely try and get some footage of that as well. I will say overall, though, I believe this is doing very well. Like I said, the Plot Spike Forage Oats, that stuff immediately took off, and it's doing great. There's no concerns about that. My only concern is the big sexy blend and the lack of water and rain that we've had. So I do have another container of big sexy. If I need to go out there and kind of add a little to it, I will. But we got plenty of time before the season gets here. We're only sitting at the end of May right now. But I hope if you guys have any questions or like if this is something you guys are wanting to do, you can kind of just see, my experience with it, what we've done, what we haven't done. You can see some of the small bucks that are coming through here, right? They were hanging out, nothing crazy, but this is a very small food plot. You know, we're sitting at maybe a quarter acre, slightly larger, but it's enough to keep them coming. They hang out when they're in there. They stay around 45 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes are in that field. So it's plenty of time if you are out there hunting to sit there and observe and, you know, take the best shot you can at one of these animals. As you can see, kind of spread out, it's very sporadic. There is some weed growth. I believe some of those are small trees that are popping up, or at least some really crappy brush. That's probably the only thing I'm going to go out there and do is pull those big ones out of there, because I don't want them overtaking anything and blocking out too much of that sunlight. And there are some ferns on that left side of the screen that I'm going to take care of, because those things spread like a wildfire, and I definitely don't want any of that messing stuff up. On this back side, if you look at the top of the screen, on the very edge of that field, kind of wrapping around to this back side where the camera is, we left it unseeded. We didn't put anything down. So I actually went back that day. He went out there and he trimmed those branches. I had him throw some crimson clover and ladino clover just along that trail, just to kind of fill it in. And that way, you know, if we're walking on it, that stuff's pretty resilient. It's not going to damage it any. We don't have to worry about messing up like the radish and the kale and all that stuff from the blend. But also just an extra food source for those deer, giving them more variety. And I will try and go out there and get like an actual clip, walking around the field, get better close-ups, better quality with my camera. That way you guys can really see the growth and the development of this field. And I'll probably try and shoot an update out there within the next month or so. I know this one's been kind of long, but I really wanted to get that growth in there and show you. So if you made it this far in the video, I do really appreciate it. And you can really see with the videos that I've added in here from that game camera, the height of those forage oats. Like that fox was just walking through, and you know it's taller than him, which they aren't very big animals to begin with, but it's going up to the belly of a lot of these deer. And this is that big doe. She hangs out all day long, right? So she comes in at noon, like I said, early mornings, evenings, afternoons, like you name it. Any time of the day she's out there walking around, and you can see her belly kind of hanging right there. So I think she had the babies already, or baby, but time will tell. We'll see if we get her on camera. I appreciate it, guys. If you guys have any questions, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks.